It's time for Physician Family Finances, the show where physician moms and dads like you can get the answers and encouragement you need to turn a good earned income into great life outcomes for tomorrow and today.
Hello, physician moms and dads. I'm Nate Reineke, certified financial planner and primary advisor.
And I'm Ben Utley, a certified financial planner and the service team leader here at Physician Family Financial Advisors. And I'm putting emphasis on that because we recently updated the name of the show. It was the Physician Family Financial Advisors podcast, but the show is not all about us. The show is all about physicians and families and their finances. So we've made this huge decision, incredible decision, to rename the show the Physician Family Finances Podcast. I know. You don't expect big changes from a good financial advisor, and you're not even going to get them on the Good Financial Advisor podcast.
Yeah, I think we had the recommendation to change this about 10 times before we actually did.
We're hard-headed.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, new and improved name, but kind of the same mission, which is to answer questions.
Yeah, and we're working on getting guests. We're working on
we
it.
are.
If you're out there and you're a promoter and you think that you'd like to have your financial advisor client on, don't write us. I get all kinds of offers for guests to come on. I'm like, yeah, that's actually our job. But if you know somebody who's a great real estate agent, physician relocation, if you have an incredible tax person that you like, those are the kind of people that we want to have, and folks that are actually, have something new to bring. So we're hoping to have that ramped up here pretty soon.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I agree.
on with the questions, right?
Yes.
It's always about the questions.
Mm-hmm. All right, first question is from an ENT from Kansas City. I'm moving into a better school district for my kids, and as a result, have to change jobs. I met with a local planner who told me I should roll all my 401k into an IRA with him. What do you think of this advice?
I think that person has had too much Kansas City barbecue and too much of the incredible beer that they have in Kansas City. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think they're smoking something, because that's not a good idea. So tell us, break it down for us, oh wise Nate. Tell us why that's a bad idea.
Yeah, well, if you roll a bunch of 401k money into an IRA, it blocks your ability to do a backdoor Roth.
And why is that, oh sage Nate?
Yeah. Well, you basically, if you have a bunch of pre-tax money in your IRA, right? Physicians now that you're a physician and you make real money, when you put money into an IRA, you're not putting in pre-tax money, right? You're putting in post-tax money if you're doing a backdoor Roth.
Yeah.
And the reason that matters is when you do your backdoor Roth, you don't pay additional taxes. You've already paid the taxes. But if you put your 401k money in there, that's all pre-tax.
Pre-tax. Yeah.
And so when you try to do your backdoor Roth conversion, you're going to start paying taxes bit by bit on that 401k money that's in there. It's unavoidable. You can't separate the two.
I'm gonna quote Ed Slott here. Ed Slott is a guy who has an IRA newsletter and has for decades, and he branded this thing called the cream and the coffee. So the if you put cream in your coffee and you pick it up and you take a drink, you can't just drink the cream. You have to drink the cream and the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you put pre-tax money from a 401k into a traditional IRA that has after-tax money because it's not deductible, then you mix the cream and the coffee. And then when you take a drink of it, which is basically you're making a conversion, when you convert, you can't just convert the good stuff, which is the after-tax contribution. You have to convert a little bit of all of it. You have what they call the pro rata rule, right? So if you blend these two kinds of money and then you do a full conversion, you're going to pay taxes. So Nate, instead of doing this icky rollover where now we've got this just coffee in there and it tastes bitter, what could this listener do with their 401k money instead? What would be a smart thing to do?
Well, you're taking a new job, right? It says I'm changing jobs.
Yep.
And I have yet, I know they're out there and Kyle has seen them. I have yet to see a 401k that won't let you just roll your old 401k money into your new 401k.
Never seen it.
I've never seen it. I've heard of it, like it's a kind of a thing, but
Kyle does a lot more of this than we do. So I guess,
Yeah.
he's seen thousands of these where I've only
Yeah,
seen hundreds, right?
right.
Yeah.
But
But yeah,
so that's a really good option.
yeah,
If you for some reason don't want to do that, like let's say your new 401k is and all that great, you could potentially just leave it there.
yeah, leave it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually the 401ks that I've seen lately, I guess maybe 5, 10 years ago, they were stinky. There were a lot of expensive ones with, hidden fees and stuff, but now they're pretty good. I find that there's
Yeah.
good investment options in there, low cost index funds and relatively low fees. I think the DOL rule kind of hammered all that stuff. But my understanding is that if you have military service or if you work for the government, you have a federal employees retirement system account, that you can still roll money into that even if you're inactive. Have you heard about that, Nate?
Yeah. Yep, you
Yeah.
can.
So that's a
We
good option. I'm sure that we've got some FERS listeners out here.
uh-huh.
Another thing is if you change jobs, you're going to be self-employed, you could roll it over into your solo 401k. But you have to be careful because when that solo 401k has a balance of more than $250,000 in it at the end of the year, then you have to file Form 5500. It's not a big deal, but if you fail to do so, there's a huge penalty. I can't remember how much it is, but I heard it and I was like, don't ever do that. Right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just real quick. I think if you've been listening for long enough, I got family in the industry, and
Hi,
these are
Dad.
the yeah, hi Dad. Whenever I talk to him about work, a lot of times he is talking to retired people.
Mhm.
And so when if someone like the listener, a doctor who's 45 years old and makes a bunch of money and
And
has a
has
bunch of
kids and
money,
is real nice and is looking
yeah,
for great help. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like a lot they haven't even considered this half the time because they're normally when you retire, you do roll this over into an IRA.
Yep.
The problem is you have many, many years to save. It's just not appropriate for you. So I'll try to give this planner the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they're really not a planner in this question, it doesn't seem like, but this financial advisor, the benefit of the doubt in that they are ignorant to this. Because if not that, then they are just trying to get some extra revenues.
So yeah, so some of it could be a commission grab, some of it could just be sheer ignorance. And I'm just going to put in a little hilarious. There's a plug. I'm going to put a plug here for specialization. We specialize like that FERS thing. I only knew that because we specialize, and so specialization really helps. But I guess I'll draw an analogy. Who do you want to do your vasectomy? Your family medicine doc who sees all kinds of patients, or a urologist, right?
Hmm.
But it comes time to get help, go to a specialist.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next question is from a surgeon in Connecticut. We are expecting a third child near the end of July. Is there anything we can do now to financially prepare? All right,
Yes,
Ben.
just get ready to give it all away.
Yeah. Yeah. I was telling you before we started that I refer to this as financial nesting. Okay,
Mm,
so everyone's trying to get prepared. You got your crib all set up, the room's painted, and then you start thinking, I heard kids cost a lot of money. And this
hmm
family knows they cost a lot of money because it's their third. Um, there are a few things you can do, but much like with nesting, it's just a few.
Yeah.
Like if you're pregnant, you're ready to have a baby pretty soon. There's not a ton that you can do to soften the blow of what that is, the cost of a child. They just cost a lot.
Yeah.
But here are the things you actually can do. And I'm specifically talking about someone who's like pregnant.
hmm
Okay, so their baby's on the way. Um, in this particular instance, you should be able to change health insurance um, plans
hmm
before you have this baby. So I think open enrollment's normally November.
hmm
Okay, so in November, if this is a client of ours, so they're probably on a high deductible health plan, so they can use a health savings account.
hmm
Right? We love health savings accounts. The one caveat to health savings account is if you can help it, don't have a baby on one.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can move over to the PPO plan, that basically the more comprehensive coverage,
Your first dollar coverage.
first dollar coverage,
Yeah.
then you can, and this you should be able to do this. So in November, switch over to the PPO, and then once you have a baby and that baby's home healthy and happy, you now can change over back to a high deductible health plan because you had a qualifying event.
Hmm.
And so I've told this story on the podcast before, but I was able to do this once. I have 2 kids. I was only able to do it once because the other one, it didn't line up with open enrollment. But in this case, it will work out. Um, and that would be great. You can get most of the benefit of the HSA and even all of it, actually, and still get really good coverage for the delivery of the baby.
This is
And
this is like a specialized version of the rule that we have with health savings accounts, which is, when you're going through open enrollment, if you know that you're going to have an elective procedure, which
mhm,
pregnancy is, you kind of elect that. It's definitely a procedure. If you know you're going to have an elective procedure, you might not want health savings account during the year when that's going to happen, right? So this
mhm,
is one of those cases.
yep, exactly. And then the only other thing I could think of, Ben, is
Yeah.
pile up money. I mean, you
Okay,
can
I
pile.
got
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got some for you. Okay, here's some
Mhm.
ideas. So this is like before you start trying,
Yes.
right? Before you start trying. If she is going to apply for life insurance, do that before you start trying. Um, there are some states that have family medical leave and others that don't. And so if you're really, really planning this, you might look at moving to a state that has FMLA. Okay. If you're hardcore about this, you might choose an employer that has a generous disability insurance policy, so you could claim disability, or perhaps one that has a generous leave policy. And even if your wife is the one that is delivering, of course she is, and perhaps she's not employed, you want to make sure that you have some time with her as a father, right? So uh, some some employers are better about that than others, and of course, if you're self-employed or you're a partner, then that's a whole different story. It's kind of things like that that I think of. You may wind up swapping houses, so you could do that beforehand. Move to the good school district before you have the baby. These are I don't really see people doing this. It's not
Yeah.
very common. But as a planner looking out, these are things that I think of as it comes time for baby.
Yeah. This is. Let's say this is for baby number one. Okay, this is
Hmm.
baby number three in the question. But when I think about baby number one, I actually a lot of times I'd say it's probably 50-50 on whether or not I even think it's advisable to move before baby number one.
Hmm.
Usually doctors aren't living in a dangerous neighborhood or something, but
Hmm.
I promise you, after if you move right before baby number one, 4.5 years later before kindergarten, you're probably moving again.
That's true. Yep.
So,
Seen that. Seen
you
it.
know,
Seen it. Seen it. Yep.
yeah. So you're talking like move close to grandma if you can, those kind of big changes. It's a
Yeah.
little late in the game for this, but if you create enough, you know, runway for yourself and you're doing really good planning, you can do that. Definitely have a fully funded emergency fund, and really beyond that, there's no
There's
financially.
nothing else to do. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do. I mean,
Oh, there is one thing. There's one thing.
okay.
And this, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I missed this with one of our clients. Like I made a boo-boo.
Mhm.
Um, I found out that they were going to have a baby. I think it was about this time of year, February-ish, and I believe they were going to deliver toward the end of the year. And I failed to advise them to max out their 401k before they went on
Oh,
maternity leave.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yep,
that
that's a
that
good
hurt.
one.
I still remember it to this day. Yeah.
Yeah,
So terrible. Human over here.
yeah.
I apologized, and we're still friends. So
I guess there is a lot to do. I keep saying there's nothing else to do.
that's because you're a guy. You're like, oh, it's just easy. Just
Yeah,
push, and boom, there it is.
yeah, yep. Okay, well, there's stuff to do. All right, next question here. Neurosurgeon from New Jersey. I got a big tax bill recently. I'm thinking about
Mm.
taxes.
Wait a
Uh,
minute.
lo-
Wait. This is a doctor who got a big tax bill
yeah,
recently? You're kidding me.
I can't
I
believe
thought
it.
that was just for postal workers.
uh, Last year we earned $720,000. I've
Hello.
already I've already got a backdoor Roth, and I'm wondering if using a Roth 401k as well would be a good idea.
I'm seeing the flashing red lights driving down the street as the police try to intervene with this terrible mistake.
Yeah,
Ear, ear,
yeah. So,
wreck.
here's the deal. Everybody looks at these Roth IRAs and they think they're going to be more valuable in retirement. which they are because they're not taxed. But I want you to imagine you took all those tax savings. This is the person that just paid a big tax bill. You took all the tax savings you got from investing in the traditional 401k, and you invested that money too. That's where people get this wrong. They look at the end result and not what they lost along the way and what they could have done with that money along the way.
Yeah.
So the short answer is absolutely not. Like, do not put money in a Roth 401k if you make $720,000 a year living in New Jersey. But there's a good reason for it. It's not just because we are overlooking the Roth 401k. It's that there's so much taxes to be saved, you can do something better with that money, like invest in a taxable account.
Okay, so I have another way to look at this that we haven't talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So imagine a world where a physician is in X tax bracket this year. 35, 24, pick, whatever they
Mm-hmm.
come up with today. If that physician is in the exact same tax bracket in retirement for the entirety of their retirement, it does not make any difference whether it's Roth or traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and think about that for a minute. 35% tax bracket now, 35% tax bracket in retirement, maybe 24% tax bracket now, 24% tax bracket in retirement, state income tax now, state income tax later. If that's the case, it literally doesn't make any difference if it's Roth or traditional. No difference. Okay, you'll just have to take me at my word for this because I've seen the research. The only time it really makes a difference is when you're in a higher tax bracket while you're making the money and a lower tax bracket when you're withdrawing the money. Because ultimately, this Roth versus traditional is a question of pay me now or pay me later. You get to choose when you want to pay your taxes. If you choose Roth, you're choosing to pay your taxes now. If you choose traditional, you're choosing to pay your taxes later. And what marginal tax bracket are you in right now? If you're in the nosebleed tax bracket in the nosebleed state and you get out into retirement and you're in the calm and easy zone, then you want to pay your taxes in retirement, not before then.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this is most physicians. You have your peak earning years while you're accruing your retirement money. And then when you get retired, you're not paying for mortgages. You're not saving for college. You're not paying for kids. You're not paying disability insurance premiums. You might not even be paying life insurance premiums. Your cost of living will go down. And at that time, you'll probably have some taxable account to draw on. So as a result, you'll probably be making less money and paying less taxes. It's not going to be the same. Yeah, just friends don't let wealthy friends who earn well put money in a Roth 401k. They
Yeah.
just don't. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Don't trust anybody who tells you to. It's not right.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. Our vascular surgeon from Virginia. My kids are at the age where they're heavily involved in robotics, theater, and lacrosse.
Mm.
I want to attend as many events as I can, but I still want to make sure I'm saving enough for retirement. What should I do?
This is I want to spend more time with my kids
Yeah.
and I want to save more for retirement.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep. I want to save a ton and work a ton because to save a ton, you got to work a ton. I also
Hmm.
want to spend a ton of time with my kids. This is a problem, right? This is just competing for the same resource, which is your time. The limiting resource is your time. The result is on each side of this equation, I guess, is more time with family or more time with work, which means more money.
Hmm.
And I can tell you that a vascular surgeon in Virginia probably makes plenty of money to prepare for retirement. They just don't know exactly how much they need to save.
Hmm.
So get your kombucha out because this person needs a plan.
Got my cup, my virtual
Yeah.
cup warmed up here. Folks
Yep.
on YouTube, this is the virtual cup. I'm pointing at the virtual cup. Everybody else, it's an actual cup.
Yeah.
I'm ready to
Yeah.
say plan. I'm ready to drink.
Yeah. They need a plan, and that's all they need. I mean, if they had a plan, they had a
Bottoms up,
plan
baby.
that told them exactly how much they need to save. They could back into the number of how much they need to work. It's as simple as that. And, I've done this several times. We got a lot of people who are listening to our podcast, and they're coming to get a plan for this reason. Like, how much should I work? That's what their plan is telling them.
Yeah.
And the result has been not all that surprising to me, but pretty surprising to them. They don't have to work nearly as much as they thought. Right now, I don't know many vascular surgeons that know how to work just a little bit, but
Yeah.
the reason that the plan is helpful is to tell them what's possible. I've never seen a physician take it to the brink of like, you can actually work this much, and then they go work exactly that much.
Well, and
So
so this is, I will say that a vascular surgeon, it depends on their environment, right? So if they're employed at like a multi-specialty clinic, or if they're employed by a hospital or something like that, they might be able to, take back a week, a day instead of working 5 days a week. They might be able to
yes.
work four. But if that physician's self-employed and they got to make their overhead, let's say they have a 20% margin, they bill $1, they keep 80 cents. If they back down a day, they're just breaking even. They're literally working for nothing.
Hmm.
So it might, we've seen this. It might take changing your work environment to be able to make family work better,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
This is not an easy transition. It's not an easy fix. You just show up less.
Yeah.
Uh, Depending on how you got your life stacked, you might have to reshuffle everything to get the result that you want.
That's a good way of putting it. That's kind of what I'm trying to say here. I'll write into these plans. I actually wrote one last week. I said you could make a double doctor family. You could make $150,000 per year. That was like the big takeaway from the plan. And that was after they were going to go buy a house in New York, have a
Hmm.
child, and they could still make $150,000 less per year. And as I
Hmm.
wrote that, I thought there is no chance this double doctor family just all of a sudden goes to work and starts making $150,000 less per year. So I decided to have a eye-to-eye conversation with them that was like, do not try to do this all at once. Work a little
Yeah.
bit less, see how it feels, see how the money feels, then work a little bit less and see how the money feels.
Yeah.
And see how it feels like maybe you don't want that much time with your family. I don't know. Like at
Yeah.
some point, like working half time isn't desirable, So I think that this is see what's possible with the plan and slowly get there. Over time, you will know what feels right.
I like to call this dating your plan before you marry your plan.
I like it.
Yeah. And on that fine note, I'm going to take us out. So,
Okay.
uh, maybe you've been listening to us. Maybe you're a client. Maybe you're already married to us. But
Mm.
maybe you're interested in dating us. So, if that's you, go to physicianfamily.com, click on Get Started to find out if we're a match. Or if you're not ready for that big a commitment, just send your questions to us at podcast@physicianfamily.com. And until next time, you're not just making a living, you're making a life.
Are you ready to turn worries about taxes and investing into all the money you need for college and retirement? It's time to make a plan and get on track. To find out if we're a match, visit physicianfamily.com and click Get Started. Or you can ask a question of your own by emailing podcast@physicianfamily.com. See marketing disclosures at physicianfamily.com/disclosures.